Welcome everybody to another episode of leanTakt, and I'm really excited about this because we are going to become on fire with the production of videos. We're revising the Elevating Construction Takt Planning book for the second edition. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. There's so much more science, so much more math, more concepts. We've expanded the fable. You're going to want to check that out when it comes out. I have not this week, but the week after scheduled to just focus on that and to pull in the any of the LGC papers, any of the Takt papers that have been written ahead of time, and pull in that research. Sorry about that. And man, this is going to expand. I've been using Takt for 10 years, but I'm even more in love with it now, just in a couple of weeks of talking to the Germans and the French that are using Takt planning in Europe, and I love it. So tonight, we're going to talk about specifically how does Takt tie into Scrum or Last Planner. And I'm going to draw it here, and you're going to love the video. I know it. So let's talk about this. How do we create a Takt plan? Generally speaking, it's simple, but there is much more science to it than this. But let me just take you through it. If you're on a project, and this is how I do it. If you're on a project, it could be a building. Here's cores. It could be a couple miles worth of linear pipe. It could be a big old site, whatever the case may be. Let's just use the building here for an instance, right? The first thing that I do is I break this out into Takt zones. Basically, what is my best guess to how we're going to break this out from a builder standpoint, right? And if here's the hoist and the trash chute, and here's the crane, and here's where deliveries come, I generally look at, hey, what's going to be the general flow of that area? And that will help me to guess. Like I said, we're starting out here guessing this is probably going to be Takt area 1, 2, 3, 4, or it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the case may be. But we use pretty much, and I'm just going to use terms and things that, hey, my arm looks really big in this video. I should show my wife. I look buff. Anyway, so yeah, well, I should show, no, hold on, where was it? Oh, no. I'm going to use terminology that we're used to in the U.S. We're used to the Last Planner system by this time. If we have milestones, pull planning is a system where we work backwards with stickies, with commitments in the right sequence. And there's a really neat way to do this, and I can show you this one of these days, but we create sequences, right? And in these sequences, it's the activities and what some people might call work steps, right? So what I do is I start to look in here at attack time and say, all right, if I know my sequence, so we package this one together. Let's say we know the durations, like maybe this is 4, maybe this one is 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 4, 5, 5, 2, 4, right? I'll start to package these together. This is its own right here. This is its own. Turns out these, when we analyze it, can go together. We'll package those together. So basically from the pull plan, I'll start to package these things into what's called Takt wagons. And the Takt wagons then become the individual Takts inside the inside the Takt sequence. So, and I'm just saying that when you're running a Takt plan, you'll put it on a rhythm, and let's just say, hey, these pretty much balanced out to where they were at a 5-day Takt time, and then these Takt wagons, what they have is they have work packages, right? So then this Takt plan is at a rhythm, and it shows all 3 types of flow, right? It shows trade flow, it shows workflow, and it shows logistical flow. So all 3 types of flow. And what happens is the trades, the colors in there show for the Takt wagons what's going on, and that Takt wagon has work packages in it. So the work package would be, hey, this one trade, that's one work package. This other trade, that's another work package, and those 2 will loop into that one Takt wagon, right? So here's the genius of the system. Each one of these work packages has work steps. So, if it was overhead, it would be, install, mechanical overhead, it would be install overhead hangers, run large duct, run branch lines, put in overhead mechanical equipment. There's work steps down here. Now here's where I'm going to blow your mind, and I think that you're going to love this just as much as I do here. In the genius of the system is in the work steps. So each one of these, so if you have an Excel template where you have your Takt plan and you have it on your one page, you can have another little tab at the bottom where it has your each Takt wagon, your work packages, and then the work steps listed out in here. Okay, you can do this in Excel. And there's nothing wrong with Excel. If anybody starts to say there's anything wrong with Excel, automatically be skeptical. They probably don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Takt planning. Remember, scheduling systems are passive systems unless the intelligence of the program allows you to do more with it mathematically. And that's specifically when I'm going to tell you about takting. That's TAKT.ing. So right there, our German friends developed this because some of the balancing and the manipulation of work steps in here really needed to be done in an application. So in that software, you'll create your work packages and your work steps, and then these work steps, some of these are preparation or defect or roadblocks. There will be different types of work steps, and on a work step you can put -2 Takt wagons or Takt times, or -6 or +4. What it will do, and this is, I'm gonna blow your mind, if you had one in here that said, okay, for this activity right here, that you needed a plan or you needed a pre-construction meeting or something, you could write in the work steps pre-construction meeting and -3, whether it's for the Takt time or the Takt wagons, however you format it, whether it's in Takting or the Excel template, and it will automatically put 1, 2, 3 the work step of planning this one back into this Takt wagon here in the work steps, so that when you hit this week, it's included in there that you need to get ready for that one over there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So it's really in the macro level, the norm level, and in the micro level that the genius of Takt planning comes through. Now, I'm about to blow your mind again. I hope you're sitting down. So when you use a Takt plan, and I'm just going to make a single line for a Takt sequence. So Takt sequence, Takt sequence, Takt sequence, Takt sequence. Not only can you see the workflow, the trade flow, and the logistical flow, but when you get into that specific week, now you have the items that have to happen to stay in flow. Not some guess, not, hey, I think this is what the trade partners are telling me they need to do. Not, hey, I'm asking a bunch of people, but asking people, collaborating, and knowing what has to happen per flow. So as soon as you get into this week, if you're using the last planner system, and I want you all, look at this, I'm doing the little trademark symbol up there. Boom, baby, I'm doing a good job. Okay, so, and you have one of those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with your percent plan complete, variances over here. If you have your weekly work plan that you're used to using, guess where you get your content for area 1, area 2, area 3. Well, not only is it in the overall Takt plan with Takt wagons, but if you're using the Excel template, you can literally go in here and copy these, because that's supposed to happen, and put them in here, and then start to fill out the commitments that week in a time scale if you wanted to. Right? Boom. Last planner system. And then you might have, let's say those are all typical, and there's a one-off. Hey, we need to go back and hit another area. That came up. That didn't come from your Takt plan. That came from somebody knowing that it needed to be done. So that's how Takt supports the last planner system beautifully. Now, so you can literally run the whole job from the Takt plan, because the pull plans become Takt sequences, and this whole plan is in and of itself a 90-day look ahead, a 6-week look ahead, a 3-week look ahead, all of it. And the work steps for this one, if there's a preparation one, you can queue it up earlier in the work steps of these other work packages inside these other Takt wagons. So it's absolutely beautiful. Now, let me erase this. If you're using Scrum, and there are some people that are like, yeah, on a weekly basis, I'd rather use Scrum. Wait for it. Okay. So you automatically, in that week, you have, whether you're using Takting, which will give you these work steps in little cards, or in your Excel template where you put it in a separate tab, you can literally copy and paste. And if you have a Scrum board, you all know that in Scrum, you do a weekly planning meeting at the beginning of the week, and at the end you do your sprint review and your sprint retrospective, and then every day you huddle in the morning for your sprint, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Okay, but on your Scrum board, which looks like this, okay, backlog, okay, sprint backlog, I'm going to do that, backlog, okay, in progress, or process, whatever you want to call it, and then complete, okay? And there are 4 columns that go like this. And so guess what? Guess what? So if you're sitting down, the activities that come from the Takt wagons, the work packages, and the work steps, which are either in Excel or in your takting software, or if you're using something like Timoti, you already have that pre-populated backlog. And whether you transfer that into tags and start doing the point system with the Fibonacci method, whatever you want to do, but then that week, in that sprint, this would be 1 week, you know what items inside the tag plan for that week have to get done. And you work in a collaborative team in your Scrum team to move these from left to right, from your sprint backlog to in progress to complete. And then you have a week's worth of work to get through that. And it's a beautiful system. So when I say Takt supporting Last Planner and Scrum, maybe we didn't do the best job of explaining it in the book, but we will this time. But like, this is the system. This is how it works. You break out your areas, you do your pull plans, you create your Takt plan. One thing I forgot to tell you is you'll do an analysis with the formula that your Takt wagons plus your Takt sequences minus 1 multiplied by your takt time equals the overall duration. And you'll see, hey, should I break these up into more areas to where I have 8 instead of 4? So you do the formula, but once you have the formula and you've put in your constraints into the takt plan, you put in good buffer management, right? Then each of these Takt wagons will have, right here, will have work packages, whether it's one or multiple, which have work steps. These work steps can either be cataloged in Excel or in a program like Takting. And like I said, if there's a preparation activity for this orange one, then that preparation activity goes into the work steps of a preceding Takt wagon in a preceding takt time or takt time scale. And those work steps can be recalled either from Excel or Takting or Timoti and come in here into either your Last Planner system or Scrum to fill out your sprint backlog for the week, for that week sprint, or for your weekly work plan in the Last Planner system. And here's the point. Do you want random things coming in there based on humans guessing? Or do you want data coming in here from a Takt plan that shows work, trade, and logistical flow? Boom, what a nice video. On we go.